Good morning, everybody. It is not Wednesday. I just forgot to change the title when we went live. This is Friday. It is freaking Friday. It is Frenzy Friday. It is Fun Friday. It's the Friday before Labor Day. It's the first Friday in September, and we're going to have some fun today. Danny and Brian are going to join me. We're going to talk about all kinds of things, whether it comes to how do you sell under someone else's brand and make it your own, making sure that we just continue to give you value, have a little fun, and just make September the greatest doggone month we've ever had. This is the High Five, and we're starting now.
The time has come, the questions are set, opinions hide, discussions are led, a show about nothing and everything, it's all the same. We've got sports, entertainment, sales, and marketing. Time for the high five. We got it all covered. It's time for the high five. We got it all covered. Yeah, the high five.
All right. It is a Matthew McConaughey kind of day, and it is a day that where you need to bring in the best best looking guys to join you to make you feel a little better about yourself. And joining me right now is Mr. Danny Shard, who is Houston strong. He's ready to cheer on those Rockets because the Astros have left him weeping in puddles of tears, but now he's got the Rockets, and they're taking on the Lakers. What's happening, sir, Mr. Danny Shard?
Good morning, Nate. Good morning, Brian. Happy Friday, High Five Nation. Yeah, the Astros, I don't know about left me in a puddle of tears, but definitely a weird year this year on many different levels. But the Rockets are playing a big series against the Lakers starting tonight. So we'll see how that goes.
And as anybody knows, the man in the middle, he loves his sports. He's the coach. He's the man who actually keeps people going. He gets people excited.
He's the guy.
He is the guy. He's the man. He's the wolf, Mr. Brian Linke. How are you, Brian?
I'm great, Nate. Labor Day weekend. The only sad thing really is it marks the end of the summer, and we've actually had a really weather-wise, as you know, Nate. We've had a great summer, and it's not over yet. But yeah, it's dwindling down, and fall's about to be here, which is the best season of all, but it doesn't last long enough.
Well, and certainly when we get to push Labor Day to the longest part of the year that we are, you push it as far as you can this year, and so it feels like an extra week of summer. We're pushing. We're going to make this world just a better place. So, gentlemen, today we are going to talk about how to sell under someone else's brand and how to make it your own. So, Brian, I'm going to start with you. I know that you've sold a lot of different products over the years, and sold not only under your name, your personal brand. Remember, a brand is, your story, who you are, what you are, why you do it, told by you through the marketing, plus the reputation that you have. And usually it's defined by a name. So Paprotech is a brand. But Brian Linke, you've sold a lot of things where you're selling someone else's brand. How do you make someone else's brand, what you're selling, your own?
That's a great question, and I'm not really sure there's a clear-cut answer. I guess the only thing that I'm gonna say is, you have to sell yourself first, and then once you sell yourself, everything else then follows, right? So like you can make anything your brand, but if you don't sell yourself before you sell anything else, then nobody's buying anything. So I just think that again, and I think Papertech has an amazing brand. I think we have an amazing basically the white label branding program that we have is we're basically giving you your own company, and it's proven to be really effective for a lot of our partners. So, but I think the answer, and I'm not sure I'm answering the question exactly how you want me to answer it, Nate. But
hey, there's no wrong answer.
You have to sell yourself first, and then you can sell anybody's brand, including your own.
Well, and last week we talked about the Go Brand Yourself. That's what Brian was talking about. We have a great program where we give you your name, your story. Everything is about you, which is wonderful. But sometimes you actually want to sell based on someone else's brand, and you're going to go out into the field and sell under the Paprotech name and under the Paprotech brand. Danny, when you're doing that, how do you encourage people to understand? Because my definition, story is important. Understanding who and what you're selling is extremely important. How do people do that when they're coming into Paprotech and they're going to sell the Paprotech name, sell the Paprotech brand? How do you encourage them to learn more about Paprotech and make sure they understand what they're selling? Oh, you're muted, Danny.
That's a really good question, Nate. I mean, I think you're the king to answer this question better than Brian and I myself, because I mean, like you said, I mean, I think you have to know the story and be able to tell the story of what you're representing. But, you know, as partners come in, we've got some great trainings. You know, I know Brian and I, when we're talking to new reps, we really try to tell the story of Paprotech, right? Like who we are, and try to get a little groundwork in there about what this company is to make them feel comfortable to partner with us, right? And initially, every partner becomes a partner under Paprotech, and they're selling under Paprotech until they decide to move forward with the white label, which isn't for everybody, right? I mean, a very small percentage of partners are doing the branding just because it's better for their business, but the majority are selling under Paprotech, and you've got to have confidence in that brand, right? And a lot of it starts with how we talk about the company. I mean, Matt Hoskins has built something phenomenal here with Paprotech, and the team that we have and everything that compiles Paprotech is it's just a great story to tell. And you know, that I think that's what partners really like to hear, so they feel comfortable as they're going out and selling it, right? And like Brian said, I mean, first you're selling yourself, but then yeah, I mean, you've got to have strong products and strong pricing and everything behind that.
Oh boy, Brian, I think he's breaking up for us today, isn't he? All right. Is it me or? Oh, everybody's breaking up. Brian, oh, gentlemen, what's going on here?
This brand, right? And it's all, we've got trainings online. Coach Mike does a really good, did I freeze? Can you hear me?
It was, I think it's me. I'm getting, my internet is unstable. Thank you, Comcast.
But
right.
anyway, so just to finish that thought, I mean, it's, you know, Coach Mike, we've got a training specifically, or I say a video on the history of Paprotech, right? I think it's important to know where the company comes from, what the brand represents that you're selling under. But yeah, it embodies a lot of different things, but you got to feel comfortable with that brand that you're wearing on your shirt sleeve.
All right. And I'm going to kind of read, because I missed a good part of Danny, and that means you guys missed a lot of it because I'm the one streaming everything out to the world. When my internet goes, we're in trouble. But one of the things for me is, it's so important to understand who you are and what you're selling, and not so much the products. That we talk about that, and knowing and having a team that's going to coach you and train you to do that. But it's the more of, let's see how do I get that? The remember why. See that behind me? Because we need to know the why, that story of why Paprotech exists. Why does it, what needs and problems is it solving? And when you're going out and selling something else, it's more than just knowing how something works. It's knowing why it works and why the company exists, and walking out. And so whether you're selling Paprotech or some other brand, it's important to know the why it exists, because people buy more into that and what problem it's solving than, you know, whether it can accept credit cards. Because let's be honest, in our industry, there's a lot of competition, and there's plenty of people, gentlemen, that are doing what we're doing, aren't there? I mean, it's not like we're rocket science here and we're doing something cutting edge and we're the first ones able to come out here and help you accept credit cards. So Brian, when you know that is true, I'm interested for just your story. When you started selling long distance back in the a while ago, that time ago,
a
long while, like how important, like, because you walked in, I can't remember, were you selling MCI? I forget what you were reselling.
The name of the company was Cable and Wireless.
Cable and Wireless. And how important was that name?
The AT&T in the United Kingdom, which I don't know. Somebody told me that once, so I just used it.
So, and how important was it knowing that why and telling that story when you were selling back in that early 80s, and, you know, I think that was early 80s, right? Mid 80s?
It was mid 80s, Nate. I graduated from college in 1985, so it was mid to late 80s. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. All right. Well, how important was branding at that point?
The late 80s.
You know, again, you know, I think that the thing that I do best is to sell. You know, I'm a broken record here, but sell myself. So I made Cable and Wireless, you know, my own, right? And, you know, the United Kingdom, and, you know, here's what we can do for you. And, you know, people, they believed me. I was sincere, and I had the big notebook with the colorful pictures, and there was no internet, so you could kind of show people this and that, and but in the end, I was very sincere, honest, and earned people's respect. And once you do that, then it doesn't matter what you're selling. I mean, you could go out and sell anything. Again, today's day is a little bit different because everybody knows everything. Everybody's, video, there's a camera on, all the time. And so it makes it a little bit difficult. But, again, I think, you sell yourself. And with us, at Paper Tech, I think, again, the thing that separates us from, and that's why when I talk to partners, they're like, well, I'm getting this, I need that. And okay, you're not going to get the support anywhere else that you're getting here. I don't care. I've been doing this a while now. It's not happening. You're not getting your own relationship manager. You're not getting your own coach. You're not getting Danny Shard. You're not getting Brian Linke. You're not getting partners at PayProTech. I mean, there's just so many different ways to get support here rather than calling into some 800 number and getting a different person every single time.
Well, and I wonder, Danny, tell me what you think about this idea. I was thinking about this as I was preparing. How do you sell under someone else's brand and make it your own? I've wondered about this idea. So important about who you are and why you do something is the people you're working with. And I've thought about this, and I've never heard of any of our partners doing this, walking in that are selling under the PayProTech name, not when you created your own name and your own brand, but when you're selling under the PayProTech name, walking in and having on your phone or a printout and saying, going to papertech.com/team and walking in and saying, look at the team that I have behind me. Look at Jenny and Jen, and look at Danny and Brian and all this team. And I am not just myself. I am representing a group of people that are here to help you. And I've wondered, would that work? Because we have so many people that sell. I mean, it's actually probably a majority of people sell under the PayProTech name, not under their own name, though we want to provide the avenues and ways to do that. I think it's important for them to know us as people, right? That's part of the reason we do the show, The High Five, right?
Well, Nate, let me just save you for a second. If you're going to mention Jenny and Jen, you better mention Pamela and Jason Lee. If you don't, I'm telling you right now, your phone is going to be ringing as soon as this show is over.
Okay, it's just easy to go Jenny and Jen because they just rolled up. You're right, Jason
Lee
and Pamela.
You there,
you're right. Thank you, Brian. All right, Dan.
Yeah, Nate, I think that's a cool concept. Let's be honest, partners are not going to go in, talk to a merchant, and say before anything, hey, look at my team, right?
Right. But I might.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, but it's knowing that you're more than. And how much is that? How much more is it when you know what's going on and who the people are?
I think there's huge value in that, and I encourage partners out there to do it. Right, add that as a closing tool. Right, as you're talking to these merchants about systems and pricing, eliminating processing fees. I mean, merchants are busy, right? They want to know the nuts and bolts, and they want to feel confident with who they're going with. They want to save money. They want better solutions, but they want to get down to the details. But, as you're closing, as you're talking to them about the next steps, right? Show them that. I mean, that is a huge confidence builder for the merchant to see, wow, look at this team behind them. Holy cow, I actually got to see some faces of the people that are helping and supporting my business. I think that's incredibly unique. Nobody's going to be out there doing that. First Datas and Elevons and Spot-ons and all these other companies that we compete against every day. They're not going out there and saying, hey, by the way, you've got a big team behind you. Look at my team, and you can call them any of them at any time. I think that has a lot of weight to it. And that's something that just is another way that you can be unique in this marketplace, and that PayProTech tries to make you unique by giving you some tools like that. It's a really cool idea, Nate. I love that.
Well, and especially in a day too, that like where everything is, done on the internet and done via email and texting, and you're just not getting that personal touch. And I think that's the thing that we bring here to people, is that you're actually talking to the same person. You have their direct line, you have their cell phone number. I mean, Danny and I've been, we just brought on an agent a couple of weeks ago, branding, white label guy, and it seems like he's asking all the right questions and doing all the right things. But we're getting texts, at last night, 8:45, 9 o'clock at night. And there's just no way that First Data and those kind of types of companies are doing that.
Well, and I think so much when it comes to this industry, no one knows any employee that works for Square except for Jack Dorsey, and no one's going to be able to call him. When the differentiation is, hey, we are a group of people who can provide all the services that anyone else can provide, but we're actually people with names, with goals, with life, and we're coming in to help you out. Danny, when you're talking to people, we have people that sell under the name Paperotech, and then we have people that create their own, like, I'm going to call it like midway brand. So they're Paperotech East and Paperotech Southeast and Paperotech Cleveland. I mean, if I start naming, we have a dozen plus of them, and they buy the domains, and sometimes they even buy DBAs, and they do all this stuff, and they're doing business as Paperotech and a location or Paperotech Elite. Sometimes there are people. How do you walk people through that and to make that decision whether you sell under just Paperotech or you sell under Paperotech Me? I'm going to call it, my little slice of the pie. What do you encourage people to do there, and why would they do both ways? What are the options?
I encourage it, right? I mean, the reality with that is we've had, gosh, I want to say close to a dozen partners kind of bridge or piggyback onto the Paperotech and make it more of a regional thing, or add their own, like you said, PPT Elite. And it's great to see. And I think I encourage it because really the Paperotech brand is established almost 20 years. And obviously we've got a great team like Nate. You're talking about the paperotech.com/team, right? These are still things that these partners can use. But from the merchant's perspective, when they're selling in that area, I mean, it's able to be presented in a way that, this is specific to me and to my area. Like Jeff Zarrett was one of the first partners that's done it. Well, not one of the first, but we had several before that didn't do as much as we would hope. Jeff Zarrett, Paperotech Ohio, right? Built a phenomenal brand in Ohio, great book of business. If you don't know Jeff Zarrett from going to any of our partner meetups, you'll meet him whenever we can get back into the face-to-face interactions, because Jeff will be there. He's one of the best partners we've got in that essence. But Jeff moved from Ohio to, was it San Diego, California, Malibu, somewhere like that. Got down into Cali, kind of got away from the Midwest and went West Coast, and he renamed it Paperotech West Coast. So now he's got both of them. And then we've got, Bradley Alton, PPT South, Vince LaForte, PPT Pacific. We've got Travis Crafton, PPT Kansas City. We've got a lot of partners that have chosen to kind of piggyback onto the Paperotech brand because it's so established, but still make it their own. And I encourage it. If you want to save on some branding, if you want to use a more well-established brand that you can piggyback off of, and even, Josh and Nate, you guys have helped partners kind of customize that PPT logo, right? And add Ohio on it, or add Kansas City, or add West Coast, or something, just to help the partner get some more brand established with what they're trying to build. So I encourage it. I love it. And, as a partner of Paperotech, you can use the brand as long as you're staying within our guidelines. You can use it how you'd like.
When Jeff Zarrett first started out, let me just tell you something real quick. He used to, when he did Paperotech Ohio, before he hired anybody, it was like, welcome to Paperotech Ohio. For technical service, press 1. For customer service, press 2. Okay. So I used to joke around, like I used to just hit any button. Okay. It was him every single time. Right? It was him every single time. Now, obviously, that was at the beginning, and then he started hiring some people to where. But I thought that was like the funniest thing. I'm like, okay, let me just see who's on number 3, and it was always him.
I love that. I forgot about that. That's
I loved it.
That is so true. I mean, because really, he was a one-man show, right? I mean, he was doing 10 to 20 deals a month, very active. But he had an established brand. He had a 800 number. Partners could call no matter what you dialed: customer service, tech support, agent relations, anything, deployment, whatever it was. Jeff Zarrett answered the call. I love it.
Like the risk department, hit 5. It's you every time.
Well, I think the beauty of this industry is you can sell under someone else's brand. The extra piece that Paperotech's been able to do it is we don't. We allow you, as long as you're a partner in good standing, to use the Paperotech name, to use the Paperotech logo, and tie it to something like PaperTech Elite or PaperTech Ohio, and now Jeff is PaperTech West Coast because he moves, and and we have, but there was already a PaperTech California, and everybody can kind of create their own little slice of the pie. And to be honest, there aren't many, and you're not doing that under the big boys, the First Datas, the Globals, the Heartlands. You can do that under the PaperTech, and that's really what makes us unique and sets us apart, right, guys? I mean,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Absolutely.
yeah. So let's think through. Is there any reason, like, what are the caveats why you would let's set up? There are three options. You can sell under PaperTech, you can sell under PaperTech and your XYZ name, or you can sell under XYZ Payments or XYZ Business Solutions. Why would a specific partner choose to do one of those three? What are the pros and cons maybe of each? What do you think?
I think by jumping into the branding white label program that we're offering, I think what I'm seeing is a lot of guys, it's a pride thing. I think is one of the things, and two, I think it's most of those guys are hiring sub agents, so they want to have their own company. They want to, so they want their sub agents, to know who they are rather than, okay, who is this PaperTech? And I just think it's just a personal preference kind of thing. And I don't think there's a right or a wrong.
What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, I think, it's really what's the best fit for the partner, right? We give you so many different options. I think like Brian was saying, the majority of bigger offices look to brand because they offer additional solutions and business services outside of PaperTech. Right. So let's be clear. You can't advertise PaperTech and be selling web services, right, under the PaperTech brand, because that's just not something we offer. Right. So I see a lot of folks that want to have a full, well-rounded suite of options to offer to business owners, even outside of payment processing, going with their own branding. That way they can offer it all under one umbrella. Whereas other partners that are just exclusively doing merchant services, maybe have smaller teams or just one, two-man show, that's whenever it's more realistic, I think, to sell under the PaperTech brand or, add your own flair to it, add your own name at the end of it. Like Brian was saying, though, about, a lot of it is pride, a lot of it is ego with some folks, but not everybody, right? I've in my years in this industry, if I could count the amount of times that I've been asked that they want to become an ISO, they don't really understand, partners don't really understand exactly what they're asking for whenever they ask that question, right? They're looking at a program like PaperTech, they want to become their own ISO, but the capital investment that's required to do that is significant, right? When in reality, they don't want any of the risk. They don't want any of that huge investment. They don't want what comes along with becoming an ISO. They want their own brand, right? And that's where, this branding thing that Brian is the best at presenting to partners. It's something that's just really taken off. And so
we don't charge enough for it.
We don't charge enough for it, he says.
I tell people that. I tell every partner that I talk to that. I'm like, for $5,000 is what we're charging. Try to walk down to a bank, walk inside, and take out a business loan or whatever. Okay, let me tell you something. It's not $5,000. Okay, and by the time it's all said and done, it's definitely not $5,000. So again, I just think it's something that we're making affordable to our agents. We're flexible on how we the payment process works, and I just think that it's just something that's extremely unique. And again, I don't think there's anything wrong with using the PaperTech name, but again, I think our white label branding program is something that there's just no way that our competitors are offering the same thing. No way.
I agree. Totally.
And I think one of the things I want our team and people to realize is no matter what you choose, what name you choose to sell under, you are a brand. And so understanding that you have to understand the story, you're telling a story to your merchants, you're telling a story of who you are, why you are doing it, what you're doing, and that's what they're looking for. Because at the end of the day, when something breaks, they're not going to say, Nate Manahan isn't processing today. They're going to say PayProTech isn't processing today. Yesterday, Square had an outage for I think like 12 minutes. But what did I see? Because I have alerts. Square, I saw Square's name. I didn't see Jack. Well, a little bit of FU Jack Dorsey. I did see that a couple times when it was down. But they happen. And then I saw our people going out and, like, not our personal people, but people in our payments industry bashing. If you don't want to work with Square, I was like, I'm like, don't get in that game. But they were talking about Square. They're going to talk about a brand. They're going to talk about PayProTech. They're going to talk about your name, Joe Blow Merchant Services. That's who they're going to talk about. And you've got to figure out that brand. You've got to figure out what you're selling. And you're going to be so much more successful if you've made that definition. Now, last thing I think about, if somebody's been selling under PayProTech name or XYC brand for all these years, and they decided to make, they've been doing this for a decade, and they were going to make a transition and become their own brand, and they're going to change to John Smith Merchant Services or John Smith Pony Sale or John Business Solutions. How do you make that change and transition? What are some tips that you guys can think of to help people make the transition from selling under, I was selling in First Data, now I am selling my own name, and I've gone hopefully white label program with PayProTech. How would you encourage people to make that transition and that change?
I don't think it's a hard transition. I think it's again, I think it's something that you can, especially with your current merchants. It's something that it's something else. You know what it is? It's something else to talk about, right? And when you can call, your 30, 40, 50, 100 merchants and tell them, you know what, I've got some really great news. I decided to go with Linky Protec and I'm basically, it's my own company and now, everything's going to go through me. And it's a pride thing. And I think it's just another selling point, and it's another thing to talk about. It's another thing to build trust. And those are all positive things. And I think merchants will be more than happy. I think they'll be happy for you. Right. I mean, Dan, what do you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think it just shows that you're more established, right? So, to your current merchants, to your current referral partner base, to the people that, you work with or colleagues or groups that you're a part of, from going to, we've got a really large partner recently signed up with us, had a very large book under TSYS. And they were, I believe, W-2 under TSYS, Brian. I mean, they had a pretty deep involvement in TSYS for many years, and has now decided to go off and build his own brand. He's already got a fairly big team of partners. And, he's going to, once his non-compete ends and things like that, he's going to be reaching out to new customers, existing customers, referral partners. And, they all know him very well because he's got a great book of business in his region. And, it's going to be a step up to be able to present to them that, I've taken a step forward, I've invested in my business, and now, you're under my merchant service. And that says a lot about them as a provider, the service that they offer, the equipment that they offer. It builds confidence, I think, in merchants, new and existing, and especially with those referral partners, right? It shows that you're doing good things, you're moving up, and it shows you're much more established. So I think it's actually a really good story to tell, like Brian's talking about. You got more to talk about, right? And you can, when, like you're saying, Nate, when you can tell a good story, people love that and they want to be a part of it.
Yeah, and the picture here is you want to help them understand how your story fits them. Where do they fit in? And I always say, and it's not original to me, that they're the hero of your story, and you're continuing to tell that story as you grow. You can better serve them. And I think it's just, the thing is, you just got to think about brand. And one of the most important things that people miss out is that brand is not something they think about when they're in this industry. And it's so important to who you are. And I've heard people say, well, it doesn't matter. I can sell anything. I can sell ice to an Eskimo. No, you can't. People are too smart for that now. And it's all about actually coming in and connecting with people. And you're not going to get the great portfolio of business you want unless you understand what brand you're selling, who you're selling it to, why you're selling it, and be able to tell that story to people. And then you're going to build that reputation, and you're just going to be able to grow a book of business. All right, gentlemen, it is Friday, and I wanted to have a little fun as we finish up. So I have a question for you. There is a 7-game series starting tonight, Brian Linke. It's Lakers versus Rockets. The great James Harden, the I don't shoot from anywhere that I don't want to, but I shoot from everywhere, Mr. Harden. Don't play a lick of defense except for the last play of the game the other night where, my word, he got a good block on that 3-point. Who's going to win? Lakers, Rockets, Mr. Linke. Who's going to win? Then I'll come to, I think, Danny, I know who you want to win, but who's going to win?
The thing about James Harden that people don't get is that, okay, he gets to the free throw line, what, 30 times
30 times a game.
I mean, so the reason that the only way you can score that many points, I mean, I get it that he's an amazing shooter and you know, he's an amazing player in college when he was at Arizona State too, but you know,
what college?
I just said Arizona State.
Oh, I didn't hear you.
Don't be quizzing me, okay? Don't be quizzing me. You know what? I'm gonna. I can't believe I'm saying this, but I'm gonna go with the Houston Rockets. I think that we're in for an exciting series, but I think it's just their time. I do. I think it's their time. And the other thing it's going to do is that if it does happen, you know, now we're back to the who's better, LeBron or Michael, right? I mean, then you know, Michael would have won that. So I just think it's another something to talk about.
I'm just glad to have something to talk about. Danny, what are you thinking as you're going into this? Because your Astros have, you know, left you, you know, just a little sad.
Are they good?
Your Rockets.
What are we talking about? We talking about the Rockets or the Astros here? What's happening?
Rockets. What do you think? Are the Rockets got a chance?
I mean, what a good pick me up to the city if the Rockets could pull this off after what the Astros have put them through over the last 12 months. You know, you're going against LeBron. It's I think what helps is that we're not going to have to travel, right? They're playing, is it in Orlando or Winter Park? Where are they playing? I mean, there's no home court advantage this year, right? Which I think plays a little bit in the Rockets' favor, especially when you go into LA. I mean, LeBron's LeBron, right? It's I mean, you want to talk about one of the best competitors that we've ever seen. But James Harden, like Brian said, I mean, he can draw fouls more than any player in the league. Kind of annoying to watch with his drop back and shooting. I call it heave ball, right? Who just shoots from beyond the perimeter all the time. But, you know, when you shoot 60, 70 shots a game, you're going to make 40 or 50 points. It's just really numbers. So you can't blame him.
His arm has to hurt, doesn't it?
His arm has to hurt. I agree. But, you know, being the devoted Houston fan that I am, I'm going Rockets in 6. I think they're going to go to the Western Conference Finals, and I think it's going to be a heck of a year. So to face the Lakers in the semifinals, I think is a gift, and I think we're going to surprise them.
Oh, well, here's my prediction. It's going to be tonight. The Rockets are going to come in and surprise, and then Grandpa LeBron is going to come in and take over. It's going to be in 6, the Lakers. The Rockets are going to steal 2 games early here. You're right, there is no home court advantage, but at the end of the day, LeBron has Anthony Davis now, has a team, even though that he doesn't – I don't think he's going to win the whole championship this year, but he's going to put it on his back. But I'll be cheering for the Rockets. I'll be cheering the Rockers. Here we go. Go Rockets. But we're absolutely, it's good to have a little bit of fun. We're excited to have it. Huge Cubs weekend when they're playing the Cardinals. We got 4 games against them. We need some wins, boys. We got to pick it up and go. We got to get a little bit of a lead against those Cardinals. We got a great series. We got to get it going. It's going to be a fun weekend. Gentlemen, as we close out, I ask you, how are you spending your Labor Day? How are you challenging our partners to make Labor Day the best Labor Day in the history of ever? Because Tuesday hits and the 8th is coming and it's ready to make the September amazing. How do you encourage our partners? Brian.
You know, well, I'll be spending it around my pool. The weather here is supposed to be low to mid 70s. So it's almost, you know, it's
perfect.
And bathing suit weather during the day and sweatshirt and shorts weather at night, which is I mean, it doesn't get any better than that. But I you know, I as I get older too, I've realized that, you know, you have to take advantage of you know, spending time with your family, relaxing, doing the things that are important, because once you get back in on Tuesday, then it's go time. And so I just urge people to take advantage of the weather. We're running out of warm days, and relax and have a cookout and just be ready to go on Tuesday.
Mr. Danny Shard.
Yeah. Get on that grill, fire up that smoker, take advantage of a little bit of a long weekend. We've already had a really good start to September here. Recharge, right? Take advantage of some time, like Brian said. Not going to have too many really nice weekends left unless you're down south. So take advantage of it, enjoy it, but get ready to hit it hard next week. We got a lot coming.
Absolutely. And as I say, as my mask says right now, and you can't read it because I can't get quite close enough to the lens to get it to focus, kindness is contagious. So make this weekend an incredible, kind weekend. Go serve someone other than yourself, whether it's a merchant, a friend, a neighbor. Go be kind, be caring, be loving. And remember that the High Five, the Paper Tech Nation, is here for you. And it's hard to talk through these masks. I understand that.
I paid for the car behind me this morning at Dunkin' Donuts, and it was one lady in there. I'm thinking, okay, it's gonna be what, like a couple of bucks. Okay, she bought like donuts for the entire office. It cost 14 something.
Kindness costs
I almost
sometimes.
I have the card back, but I didn't, and then I took off. So
it's a cup of coffee at Starbucks.
I feel good about it.
Well, that is the kind of thing that we encourage you to do. Have a great weekend. Have a happy Labor Day. We'll be back next week. Houston strong. We are so excited to be part of your world. High five, everybody. We're so thankful for you. We hope that you have an incredible Labor Day weekend. Have fun with your family, as Brian said. Spend time. And remember, Paper Tech is here for you. High Five is here for you. We love you. Have a great weekend. Oh, yeah. Here we go. We got it all covered. The High Five. See you next week. Have a great